not terribly long ago, I came from the first session of the second of two courses I'm enrolled in for this 5-week period beginning August 19th, 2022. Yesterday evening, I attended a session with Lee Barrett. Today it was conducted by Kathy Nelson. And last night session is theology, just sort of foundations of theology. Today is a kind of theology practicum, that is to say Saturday mornings. Still experiencing a whole range of scheduling, payment, book buying, sort of snafus, and really, truly snafus, I think, in this particular circumstance of the transfer or the merger between Lancaster Theological Seminary and Moravian University. So, for example, this morning I went online to purchase books because yesterday it became apparent that this was something that I would need to do post haste. And I didn't deal with it last night because I was really tired. I'd had a full work day and then some hours, 3 hours of class, and I came home and dedicated myself more to having to eat and just decompressing. But this morning I got up at about 6 o'clock, which is late for me. It's about 2 hours later than I usually get up. And I was proud of myself that I got up because I had set my alarm improperly for PM rather than AM. So the potential at any rate was that I could have slept through the alarm, but I didn't. So I got up and I made a little bit of breakfast, and I started to went into the website that one needs to use to order books, and I started the process of ordering books. And then I thought, last night there were some people who had their books already, and theoretically there's a kind of an automatic provision of these things based on student aid, and it's not quite as automatic as all of that, but I thought that it seemed like it was a pretty smooth process. So I went to the student mailboxes in the next building over, which is Lark, and people were already out and active. It was about 6:45 in the morning, and there was a continental breakfast that was going on, and I kind of went in and looked around and saw that it was happening, and then came back to my room. And when I went back online, I got a message that that I had timed out on my session for ordering things. But I had already received an order confirmation, or an order confirmation number, but I couldn't find the confirmation email that they said that I was going to receive. So I thought, between one thing and another, gosh, this is, I probably didn't really order the books. So I went to try to open up my account, and I couldn't figure out how to get to it. And I thought, well, when I set up the account, I may have garbled my email because we've got multiple email accounts. And I think I put the first part of my Moravian email and attached it to the back end of my Lancaster email. I don't know what really happened, but I thought that was certainly a possibility. So I created a new account, ordered books, and received another confirmation number. So now I had two confirmation numbers, which were closely similar but not the same. I said, oh gosh, what's going to happen here is I'm going to be charged double or nearly double because one of the books that I had ordered the first time around was temporarily out of stock. So I'm thinking, okay, so I probably ordered the last one of that they had in stock. So I sent an email to the bookstore company, and I've received several messages from them that they received my email. I forwarded that message to the administrative assistant to the dean here at her request, because she was running the continental breakfast and I was explaining some of these issues to her. So I think I've kind of performed my due diligence in terms of trying to fix that situation, but I don't really know how it's all going to play out, and it's the weekend, so I will just sort of hang tight on that one. There is enough money in my account to cover daily needs until that's sorted. Fortunately for me. It's clear as I'm going to class that a lot of people are having various kinds of issues, but not typically the same issues. So it's just a range of difficulties of having accounts, linking to the accounts, finding things in the accounts, attending or not attending tech orientations, having the tech orientations available or not, all kinds of issues of those sorts. As for the classes themselves, at this point it's a lot of introductory stuff, people sort of telling their life story up to this point, and those are interesting but confidential. There does seem to be a theme of, in a sense, being driven or hounded into this experience rather than being just in a happy place and being led into a happier place. It's more like, gosh, I wouldn't have expected that I would be here, and I've kind of been pushed into it, which is fairly well my own experience. For me, there's this sort of a practical quality to it that I've been frank about that with some people, and I'm wondering whether, if you poked around a little bit, whether you'd find that was a fairly common experience. When I make jokes about it, people laugh. So, well, I came back to school because my student loans came due and I needed a deferment, and they laugh, not, I don't know what you mean, So, I will have to get a book by Cornelius Plantinga. My plan is to read it in the library as a reserve. I think I will probably do that by physically going to the library and reading it rather than mucking around with bringing it home and then sneaking it back in the morning, something like that. But we'll see. That's got to be done quite soon, because I have to write a reaction to it by basically Monday at midnight. So it's Saturday now. That's going to be pretty tight. So I think that tomorrow I'm going to be spending some time investigating that. I have to do preps for the Bible study that's coming up on Tuesday that I'm conducting. I'm supposed to be a lay reader at church tomorrow, and I haven't even looked to see what the pericope is. So this has been a difficult week because usually there is a day in the week when I'm not doing something, and this has been about 2 weeks that there's not been a day off. There have been times during the day that have been downtime, and I've made use of that downtime, but there hasn't been a full day off. And I think that's going to continue to be a bit of a problem, that I'm not quite sure how I'm going to resolve that one. There is a position available in the library for an assistant, and there's an administrative position that's full-time. I don't think I'm quite up to that, but I think adding a part-time position here might be preferable to the work that I'm doing at Hammond's. On the other hand, from the perspective of the folks at Hammond's, if I pull out some days of the week, then they have to train other people to do what I've been doing. Not that it's terribly, terribly difficult, but especially some of the order processing that I'm doing is pretty complicated in my experience. And I say that in part because I keep getting it wrong. So I've been doing it for over a year and I still keep getting things wrong. So I think it's a bit of a mental challenge that they could certainly find somebody who would do it, but I don't know that they want to hire somebody to just come in for, an hour or an hour and a half every day to do something that's pretty mentally challenging, and that has to be done at like 6 o'clock in the morning. So it's for some of these things I'm kind of bound into them by a sense of duty and awareness, maybe too deep awareness of kind of the dependency that people have on what I have entered in to do. So that's part of what my burden is at the moment. I'm feeling pretty tired, and I'm trying to decide between a nap and a walk, and my impression is that it's becoming a quite hot day again. So it is early afternoon, and it's usually hottest between, say, 2:30, 3 o'clock, and 5. That's usually when it's the hottest. I do not have any specific obligations for the rest of the day, so I could, in a sense, put off a walk until this evening. And so I'm going to try to find out what the pericope is for tomorrow and look into that.